Here's something else I'd like to talk about, to reflect on a bit. Alt season. We're all just sitting and waiting for alt season. We're constantly being told that it's just around the corner, that it's about to start, that autumn is here, and it will definitely happen. Well, autumn has passed, so if it didn't happen in autumn, then it must be coming in winter. If not in winter, then in spring. If not in spring, then in summer. And now summer has already passed too. But still, we haven't really seen any alt season at all. But nevertheless, this topic keeps getting thrown into the information space from time to time, so to speak. Everyone has their own motives. Some want to stimulate demand for all sorts of junk, like crypto, for example. And for some, it's not even about having a goal, it's just something to talk about. So I decided to talk about it too. From another perspective, let's think about where this phenomenon of alt season actually came from. Once upon a time, roughly 10 to 15 years ago, there was Bitcoin and a few other cryptocurrencies, Ethereum, Litecoin, Ripple, and a couple of others. Mainly they were used for transactions, so to speak, often in shady operations. And of course, for some speculative purposes. And when it started attracting whales and big capital, we saw a rapid, explosive growth in Bitcoin. And at some point, naturally, the whales had to lock in their profits. Well, everyone had their own vision of which levels, psychological or simply when it was time to take profits. And Bitcoin was declining, falling. At that moment, the altcoins like Ripple and Ethereum were showing. First of all, they were naturally more or less following along, sometimes moving in sync with Bitcoin, sometimes lagging behind. But when Bitcoin was falling, they would soar to their own new highs. Basically, the point was that when long positions in Bitcoin were being liquidated, the capital would flow out into undervalued assets, which at that time were in fact the altcoins. Now, however, the situation is completely different. Now, the fundamental factors are entirely different. Those who are behind the buying of Bitcoin are simply buying Bitcoin. They're just buying it. Governments are buying it for their state reserves. Corporations are buying it for their own reserves. Large hedge funds are buying it, expecting even bigger moves and huge returns. And naturally, from time to time, there is some profit taking. In the same way, there is demand, some demand for Ethereum as well. It's clear there are a lot of coins now circulating and being used on the Ethereum network. Ripple is being used as well. Granted, it's a rather controversial digital coin, so to speak, but some major banks are indeed starting to actively utilize this particular network for various transactions and so on. So now the entire market's primary focus, the prevailing market's fundamental idea, the compelling reason they're diligently buying all these diverse cryptocurrencies has significantly shifted. It's completely different from what it was 10 to 15 years ago. And the interest in crypto assets is completely different now. It's a redefined interest, like with Bitcoin, where the supply is limited to 21, if I'm not mistaken, million. That is, there won't be any more of it.